haven't got my eyebrows on yet, which is why this look isn't looking complete. I'm going to try and do an eyebrow tutorial now, but in the past I haven't really filmed very well, so fingers crossed, and we'll see how. To start out just by brushing my brows through with the spoolie on the end of the brow definer. Now at the moment I prefer my brows a bit more natural looking, so I don't tend to use many products on my brows at the moment. I do get my brows looked after. I do HD brow them about every 3.5 to 4 weeks, which costs about £25. So I do get them looked after, and that really does help. Okay, so now I'm going to outline my brows. So I'm taking it right here along the bottom. It's quite hard for me to do because the mirror is quite far away. I've also got an eye that's starting to sting. So I'm just going to pull that one down slightly. And then what I'm going to do is brush downwards at the top. And I'm just going to concentrate on this area here rather than all the way along. And I'm going to just line again, do the same thing. So this is just the blonde definer. And normally I do my brows before the rest of my makeup, so this is a bit alien to me. And I'm very lightly going to start pulling upwards. Okay, and then I'm going to get the spoolie and comb that through, basically blend that in a bit. Come in slightly closer this time. Okay, so line in underneath. I'm pulling this one down a bit because I haven't got a point at the end of my brow. I'm just concentrating here because I've got a couple missing, a couple of hairs. Okay, so you want to be stopping about the middle of your nostril. And again, I'm going to brush downwards now. And then do the top outer section. And then start pulling upwards here. If your pencil is nice and sharp, and you can sharpen these, well, just by rubbing onto paper, you can create nice fine hair strokes here. I'm going to neaten all this up in a second, and then again use the spoolie and comb through and blend that out, especially here. Okay, at the moment I often stop there if I'm just going out to do the school run and things like that. That's where I stop. I'll neaten up underneath, which I'll do in a minute, but that's where I'll stop. But if I go out, then I'm going to add the darker colour just to the outer sections. So I'm using one of the brow powder duos. I always get that mixed up and say it the wrong way. So I'm going to start with the lighter colour on a really fine brush. This one is the Sigma E06, and I'm going to start by just really lightly applying that colour all the way up and blending it through. And then what I'm going to do is change when I get to this section here to the darker colour. So just still on the lighter colour, a little bit at the bottom when there's a bit less on the brush, and pull up. And I'm going to repeat that on the other side. So choosing the lighter colour, just pulling it through and from the lower section up here. Okay, so now I'm going to change to the darker colour and just trace around the lower shape, and then here. So normally I would be a lot closer to the mirror, so I'm desperately hoping this looks alright up there. Okay, so work that colour through. Take a spoolie again and brush it together. Okay, so sometimes if I have gone overboard in these sections, because I prefer those to be a bit lighter, I use the sponge. This is probably completely wrong, but in my eyes I don't see any right and wrongs with makeup, just whatever gets the results that you want. So I sometimes take my sponge and literally just very lightly pat it onto the outer section, or sorry, the inner section, and then just use a spoolie again just to go up. And then I'm going to apply some gel to it, so you can use the clear gel or a tinted gel. So I'm just going to use the the clear gel. I'm working that upwards here, and then I gradually start to get more and more sideways, and then pull it down. So upwards and sideways, and pulling it down. And now what I want to do is clean up these lines under here and create some sort of lift for my brows. I'm going to use the Eye Bright from Benefit. Now usually I use Highbrow. I don't know if this is the same product because it looks very similar, and they've just renamed it, but I've just had this today, so I need to investigate into that. So what I'm going to do now is draw a line under here, and then I'm going to use the flat brush and pull it downwards. So the flat brush I like to use is the Laura Mercier Flat Eyeliner brush. Right. So I'm applying that line, and then I'm going to use the brush to pull it down. Okay, so normally I would do this before my makeup goes on, so it's a bit different to do it afterwards, because the blending isn't quite the same. Just pulling it downwards. Okay, now I'm going to take a clean brush and just blend the edges upwards because I've done this the wrong way round, and I feel that that's what it needs now. Okay, so that's done. You can highlight here as well if you want to. I quite like mine matte at the moment. I feel a little bit old-fashioned, I guess, when I use more of a highlighter here. It depends what eyeshadow I've got on, but yeah, I'm keeping mine matte today anyway.